Palantir stock has suffered some serious setbacks in the last week, with news story after news story coming out about this company, and none of it's been good. So in today's video, we're going to talk about what the hard truth is with Palantir. We're going to talk about what's going on, why there's so much bad news, and what you and I, as an investor, should probably do. I want to start this by going way back. We're not going to talk about this week. Let's go back to my first investment in Palantir, which I made a long time ago, back in the days when this stock was trading in the single digits. I was a firm believer that this company had the ability to do something revolutionary and that it would find an amazing multiple. It would grow. I was a big believer in both the government and the commercial business, and just about everything and far more than I expected did come true. And so even I sometimes have to admit that I was wrong. I should have been far more bullish on this company. $120 a share was not something I ever imagined for Palantir, much less as early as 2025. With all of the drama going on, I want us all to take a big step back. If any of you are Palantir shareholders, think about your thesis. Because at the end of the day, anytime you're buying into a company, that is what you're buying for. And for me, the thesis was really, really simple. They have a great product, which at the time was just a foundry product, but obviously is now a great product offering. And they have some really key customers. And at the time, in 2023, we're talking mainly about government and then these big mega corporations that have enough data for it to be viable for them to have Palantir products. The thing is that AI has changed everything so dramatically for Palantir, and the ability for Palantir to scale to meet the demands of their customers has meant that their total addressable market expanded dramatically. That's where we get into some of the problems, because as the total addressable market expanded, it became clear to all of us that this company was going to post record growth after record growth after record growth, and was going to grow beyond what any of us understood. And at some point in the last year, and I can't tell you where, and no trader, no matter how amazing they are, is going to tell you exactly why it played out or when it played out. At some point, the story of Palantir, the stock itself, and the company of Palantir separated. And now Palantir stock on its own has moved as more of a momentum play, as more of a constant positive hype cycle, rather than an accurate reflection of the amazing Palantir company. And this had huge benefits for lots of us shareholders because we saw, again, $120+ a share. Every single Palantir shareholder should be patting themselves on the back. I am not a genius trader. I am not somebody who swing trades in and out of positions in order to make huge money. That's not a skill I have. I'm just some guy who invests in good companies. And so when I saw that Palantir was going beyond where I understood, I scaled back my position. Because the unfortunate truth about stocks that see the company and the stock price separate is that at some point, the story will break. And while I don't know for sure if this week was that story breaking, I think the unfortunate truth, the difficult truth for all Palantir shareholders is that at some point it will. Now, this week's drama was a two-headed beast here. We had the government, which again, if you remember, was one of the initial pillars of my investment, the government scaling back their defense spending. Now, defense is a huge part of Palantir's sort of world. It's probably not the part that most investors care about. Let's be honest. It's not the part that's growing at the speeds that are making Palantir such a fantastically valued company. The other part is that Palantir CEO Alex Karp has sold another big tranche of shares, another big group of shares he's sold off. I think he made over $1 billion. Now, I think it's important that we look at those things, we think about them, we think about how they impact the business. I never like it when insiders are selling shares. Ideally, I'd love it for them to be buying shares at the same time as me. But insiders sell shares for a bunch of different reasons. They only buy shares for one. So buying shares, huge deal. Selling shares, who knows? Who knows what Alex Karp is doing with his money? Well, he does. And unless he says, yeah, I don't believe in Palantir, then don't assume that's what that means. Government cutting spending, is that negative for Palantir? Maybe. But don't assume just because they're cutting spending, they're going to cut this company. Maybe this is one of the ones that they continue spending on, or maybe not. But the fact is that those news stories have moved the stock price dramatically. I mean, I'm pretty sure in the last day or two, we touched double digits. Now, I haven't been staring at the stock price, but from the charts, it looks like we touched double digits. We were at $120 something a share just a few days ago. So dropping below 100 is a big deal. And obviously that's a psychological level, and it's a level of resistance. And traders can tell you how important $100 a share is. But what I can tell you as an investor is that, again, when you're talking about technical analysis and momentum, you're not really talking about investing in a company. Palantir stock is a stock for traders now. And so if you are a Palantir investor, first, congratulations. I hope you had a bigger sized position than me and you made even more money. And I hope it has gone fantastic for you. And I sincerely believe this is going to be life-changing money for a lot of people. It was great. I really enjoyed it. It allowed me a little bit of flexibility. Didn't change my life, but I hope it changed some of yours, because that is fantastic. And that's one of the things that only really select stocks can do. And I hope that you have taken at least some profit. Please don't just diamond hands a stock like this for the sake of believing in it, for the idea that as long as we all hold, we can squeeze the shorts. Don't put yourself in a bad position. Don't have more money in this than you can afford to lose, because the stock price in the short term is going to be volatile, and nobody is going to be able to accurately predict exactly what it does, exactly when it does, for any period of time. People are fantastic at predicting some short-term moves. There are a lot of really skilled traders out there that can tell you, oh yeah, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. But in the longer run, who knows? Maybe there's a war tomorrow, or another massive set of tariffs, or whatever huge event that moves the stock market and so moves the stock. I don't know that. And so don't put yourself in a position where you can't afford to take losses here, because if you're buying today, you might take losses. Now, if you have a big position and you've been building it for a long time, you're probably deep in the green. So you're probably okay. I'm just warning those few shareholders, and I know some of them. I know some people that have bought this recently because they finally heard about it, saw the growth, believed in it, saw the success, and were buying in the $120 range. And those people are probably freaked out today. Now, again, with any company that is as volatile as this, you either got to be a long-term thinker, which is my personal philosophy. I'm looking at 10, 20 years out when this thing could be a $1 trillion+ company. Who knows? Who knows how huge it could be? Or you need to only have risked enough money that you can afford to lose it all. If you're going to sell at some point, you've decided this is not a long-term hold for you, and you're going to sell, then you have to acknowledge the fact that you might have to sell at a lower price. If you've decided you're going to sell, you might have to sell at a lower price. And that takes me to the final thing I want to talk to you guys about today. And that is betting bearish or going short on this company. And I'm looking at whoever needs to hear this message. I'm looking at you, because I sincerely think it is a bad idea to make a bearish options bet on this company in the short term. And the simple reason is that if you are buying options on a stock like this with high volatility, high premiums, it's a lot of money you've got to risk. And you are setting an end date. And while some people are going to make fantastic options plays the stock like this that's moving and huge amounts of money moving either way with big momentum, there are going to be some people, you're going to see it on Wall Street Bets. People are going to make millions. Even more people that you'll never hear from will lose everything because they put that end date on their investment. They set the expiry. And when you're dealing with something like this, the adage always goes, the market can stay irrational longer than you can stay solvent. So what am I doing? I'm sitting back. I'm relaxing. This thing has made more gains than I ever imagined. And I will let my shares ride off into the sunset, whether that be to the highs that I expect them to go or back down for several years. And you know what? If it goes back down, guess what? I can now buy more, because that's how I fundamentally believe investors should think about big growth companies like this. Buying at the peaks when everything is hype feels awesome because you're looking for new all-time highs and things are moving in an awesome direction and there's a big community that all agrees with you and it's a great feeling. But when things start to go wrong, just put yourself in a position where you don't have to sell or where you are able to just wait it out. This is a story that is played out with so many amazing companies. It's going to play out with Palantir, or it might not. Who knows? Just don't put yourself in a bad position. That's what I'm doing anyways, and that's what I sincerely believe you should do. If you enjoyed this content and you like talking about investing, please do subscribe to the channel. Makes a huge difference, doesn't cost anything. And please like the video. I think this is an important message. I know it's not usually something people like to talk about, right? When we have stocks, and I mean, I've talked about Palantir a couple of times on the channel. It was one of the first companies I ever talked about. When we have these big stocks that do things we never imagined, we never want the story to end. We're always hoping that there's going to be that next big run. Because when I was buying and I saw it jump to 15 and then to 20 and then in the 20s and then the 30s, I never imagined $120 a share, and it has been such a rush. It's been fantastic. So this isn't an exciting story to tell, but I think it's an important one. And so if there's anybody you know that needs to hear it, please do share it with them because I think it's important. And with that being said, I hope I see you in the next video.